everybody, my name is Lauren Quiroa. I am the school counseling intern, so I'm working here with Miss Reed and Miss Marquez. Today I'm going to be presenting about how to build your resume. So can anyone tell me if they've heard or know what a resume is? By raise of hands. Okay, so you kind of know what a resume is and you've heard of it before. Have you made one before or you haven't? No, okay. So today we're going to talk about how to build one and how you can make it look professional. So we're going to be covering the purpose of a resume, the different parts and components that it has, how to make it better, and how to make it if you don't have that much experience, and then some resume tips. So before we get started, I'm gonna have you copy this QR code. If you could take a really quick pre-survey, that way you can answer just a few questions, and then we can see like what you know now versus what you know after. So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Were you able to copy that? The QR code, yes. Are you having trouble with your phone?
I'll complete it.
Okay, you just don't have internet, it's slow? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So what is the purpose of a resume? So a resume can be an opportunity to tell employers about your skills, your abilities, experience, and education. And a resume can also be used for an internship, a job, volunteer position, if you want to apply for a scholarship, or use it for letters of recommendation. So if you give it to the person that you want them to write a letter of recommendation, they can look at your resume, and it's a good way to show them like what kind of skills and abilities you have, so they can make your letter of recommendation. And it is a goal for most resumes is for you to get a job interview. So there are different parts of a resume, and I'm gonna go talk a little bit more in depth about each one. So this is an example of how a professional resume would look like. Can anyone tell me from like a quick glance, what do you notice about this resume? How does it look?
Basic. Or does it use?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What
I said basic.
Oh, basic? Okay. Do you notice anything about the lettering? How does it look?
Like the main subject is like bold.
Okay, the main subjects are bold. Anything else? Okay, so I know it's really tiny to see, but all of the margins, if you notice, they're all aligned. So everything is aligned on the left-hand side. It looks clean. All the font is the same. It's Times New Roman, and also the size of the font is 12. That's the recommended. Or you can do 14 if you feel like you want to fill up a whole page. 14 would be the recommended biggest size. And then ensuring that all the spelling and grammar, there's no grammar errors, and the style, everything is uniform and clean. Any questions so far? So, if you notice on the sample at the top under your name, there's an objective. Do you guys know what an objective is or have an idea of what that is? So an objective is basically a goal. It's pretty much a statement to discuss your interests and why it's relevant to the job you are applying for. And you only would use it if you know specifically for the job you're applying and if you're going to be specific. So it is optional. You don't have to use an objective. It is recommended when you know, for example, if you want to work at Starbucks as a barista, so your objective would be you want to obtain a job as a barista at Starbucks. So that's pretty much an example. So there's another example here, to obtain a position as a Party City team member. So if you know specifically what your goal is for when you're submitting your resumes, it is recommended to put it, but again, it is optional, so you don't have to put one. And then as far as education, so for education, it is recommended to put the school you're currently attending or have attended, the location, which is the city and the state, and then your expected graduation date, and then list any specific courses such as college courses, AP courses, AVID, honors, CTE, or other classes. So examples of that could be AP Biology, Spanish for Spanish speakers, or if you took an entrepreneurship class. It is also recommended if you have a GPA that's 3.5 or above to include that on your resume so you can showcase your GPA. Any questions so far? So this is an example of the education portion of the resume. So you want to make sure, like he said before, that it's bolded, your school is bolded, it's uniform, all the margins aligned. And then on this example, it has an expected graduation date, and then or the date that you graduated from, your GPA, the college courses that you took during your high school, and the location. And then for experience, so for experience, you want to highlight any paid work experience or any paid internship that you might have done during the summer. Also any volunteer community service, any clubs, organizations, or extracurricular activities that you did during school. So for experience, you want to include both formal and informal experiences. For example, informal could be babysitting. If you happen to do that for a family member or a close relative, I would go ahead and list that on your resume, or any volunteer if you were involved in any school clubs here. So this is how it would look. This is an example. So for experience, this example says that they worked at Starbucks as a barista. So then they have bullet points of what they did. And then for volunteer, it says they were a babysitter. So it highlights things that they did. For example, responsible for attending to 2 children between the ages 3 and 5 or 3 and 10, observe and monitor homework, so things like that. And then, so when you're writing your resume bullet points, I do want to highlight, you want to put an action verb. That's how you want to start off. And then put on the bullet point sentence what you did, why you did it, and what you learned. So for example, if you're saying that you were in a debate club member, and if you were in the debate team, you want to highlight that you were engaged in weekly discussions on current event topics to prepare for statewide competitions, develop strong speaking skills. So that is a way that you can write the different bullet points, but with action verbs, and then make it clear of like what you did, what you learned, for how long or how many days a week you would do that. Any questions on this portion? So if you look at the papers that I passed earlier, you do have a sheet that says resume words thesaurus. That sheet will really help you write the bullet point section of your resume, and it's super helpful because you can make your resume sound really professional, and then there are words that are related to things that you've done, but it just sounds better. So a sample of the resume for extracurricular activities would look like this. So does anyone know what extracurricular activities are? You do? What's an example of an extracurricular activity?
Like sports.
Okay, yes. So extracurricular activities means anything that you were involved in here at school. So it could be sports, it could be clubs, or anything that you're involved here at school. And then you would put it in this section under, or any like teams that you were involved in. You can go ahead and put that in this section right here. And then when writing your resume, you want to think about how many days a week you spent on that activity. Did you do it every week, every month? Was it a one-time thing? You also want to see how much time you spent. Was it for 3 hours, or was it once a week for after school for 2 hours? And then how many people you impacted, or who you worked with. If you worked in as a team and you collaborated with others, you want to also highlight that. And what were the results? So if you were in a debate team, did you win a competition? Did you participate in a competition? Did your team win? And then what did you learn from being in those sports or curricular activities or any clubs at school? And then the more specific you are, the more detailed, the better. So for the area of awards, honors, and achievements, you want to make sure that you list any certificates, licenses. If you're in the dual enrollment program, you want to also highlight if you get any certificates from being doing that as well. CPR, if you have honor roll or perfect attendance, it's recommended that you put it under the awards and honors section. So this is an example of how it would look like. You would just put certificates, bold it, and then put a bullet point, and then list the different certificates or awards that you received. And then for skills, so hard skills versus soft skills. So hard skills are pretty much things that are teachable. If you're proficient in another language, if you have if you gain a certificate or a degree, or if you know any like software specialties like Excel or Microsoft. And then people skills are pretty much skills that you learn. For example, communication, adaptable, you're a team player, or you have a really good work ethic. So these are more examples of the different areas that you could put. If you have good communication skills, you can put on your resume that you're fluent in Spanish or in another language. If you do speak another language, you're a good public speaker. Another example for communication skills would be verbal and nonverbal communication. Or if you have good computer skills too, if you know different softwares, that's something good to highlight, especially if you're applying for an internship and you want to do like say a tech internship position. You can highlight computer skills. You can also highlight interpersonal skills, leadership and time management. And you can put that you're organized, you're a goal setting person, and you have good prioritization skills as well. And then a good tip would be a good way to find the skills you need for a job is to review the job requirements listed in a posting. I don't know if you've checked before, but when you apply or for a job or an internship, they always have a section right here where it says skills and abilities. So that's a good way to go into the job posting and check required knowledge, and then you can see what kind of skills that internship or job are looking for. So once you read, like for example, this one says for the Starbucks barista that they want someone who has ability to learn quickly, ability to understand and carry out oral written instruction, strong interpersonal skills. So if you read through that, then that's something you can add on your resume under the skills section of your resume. So that's an example of how it would look. You could put something very simple, and that way it's easy to read, and then the employer or the place or organization you're applying for can see, oh, that's something that we're looking for, so they have the skills that we want. And then how you can revamp your resume. So one way would be coming to the College Corner, learning about different internships that you can do, or job opportunities. You can also join club or organizations here at Wilson, join a sport if you're interested in that too, or taking an ELAC class like Miss Marquez, the career counselor, just talked to you guys about. You can have the opportunity to do that, and then that's something you can add on your resume. And then you can list activities that you typically think you would not put on a resume. That's anything you do like as a volunteer, that's something that you can add to a resume. And if you're in the IB program, you can also include any community service things that you do for that program, or if you do avid volunteer, or if you feel like you did amazing and you're proud of your personal project, that's something you could also add on your resume. And if you take care of siblings, you could definitely put that too. If you have siblings that are younger, or if you feel like you translate for parents through phone, or you translate documents, that's something that you can definitely add on your resume as well. And if you're part of the Upward Bound, AVID, or UCLA, EAOP, or IB programs, I would definitely recommend to add that to your resume as well. So again, this is an example. So this is an example of someone who doesn't have as much experience as the first example I showed you, but if you can see, this person added their personal project as academic experience, and then for volunteer, they put that they were a babysitter, and then that they provided informal translation assistance, and that they're fluent in another language. So even though if you feel like you may not have as much experience now, and you're trying to still get involved or build your resume with different types of experiences, you can still create one and make it look professional. So lastly, some resume tips. Make sure you're careful with your spelling, punctuation, and grammar. If you want someone to proofread it, you can always stop by the College Corner. We could take a look at it for you. And also make sure that you're clear and to the point. You don't want to have long bullet point sentences. You just want to have one and make it clear and concise. And then include as much experience as you possibly can. That way you can fill up one page of your resume. And then also tailor the information to the job you are seeking to. You can tailor it, like if you want 3 different jobs, tailoring it to each one of them, or making one that's more general to fit any job. And be specific, as I mentioned, and include dates when appropriate. So to end, if you guys could take this post survey real quick to see what you guys have learned, or what you know now as part of like how to build your resume. So as you're taking that, I also provided a second worksheet. So right now you can start building your resume if you don't have one. It's a brainstorm resume bullet point section. So this worksheet will definitely help you brainstorm the different areas that I just discussed. Your skills, your academic skills, volunteer, or any experience you've had. That way you can brainstorm or think outside the box of what you've done so far, and then write it down. And then from there, you can also start your resume. And then I will be showing you how you can log on to the high school website under the college corner. You can find this PowerPoint there, and then you can also find the templates of the worksheets that I provided. And you can also look up different resume templates. So if you feel like you don't know how to start one, there's already templates on the website that you could just download, and you can just delete the information and write your personal information. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you some time so you can do the resume brainstorming worksheet and start writing down different